Okay, Senator, thank you very much for your time. I just wanted to talk to you about your reform agenda. You are rolling this out now. It, of course, is a new year. Chief on the agenda is changing the rules for the filibuster. Why do you think this is necessary?
Well, the reason why we have to change the rules is because Washington is broken, and we have very tough issues we have to address. We still have a very difficult economy. Unemployment is too high. We have to create jobs. We have to get small businesses growing. And to do that, to implement that agenda, we have to change how business is done. So the first thing we want to do in the Senate is we want to reform some of the rules. We want to reform the filibuster rule, which is when a senator threatens that he's going to stop a piece of legislation and hold it out for endless amounts of time. We're going to make that senator actually stand up in the Senate and talk about why he or she is against the legislation.
Senator,
we're basically bringing Mr. Smith back to Washington.
Just to, for 1 second, if you don't mind, to interrupt you. I mean, it's going to basically be harder for the minority to filibuster. That's what this is about, right? Because the minority members were able to band together and hold up whole swaths of legislation. The trouble is, what if the Democrats end up back in the minority? I mean, isn't this a power that you would actually want?
No, because it's been abused. You know, a long time ago, there was a filibuster maybe once or twice a year. Now, the filibuster is being used once or twice a week. So it's being abused, and it's being so abused that it means the people's business isn't getting done. We're not moving forward even to the debate on legislation. And what's been most recent is just one senator will threaten to filibuster, but not actually do the filibuster. So all of these proposals that we've made, all of us feel, all the senators that are working on it feel, that these are proposals that we would feel comfortable working under if we were in the minority.
Okay.
So if you're really against a bill, there's no reason why you shouldn't stand in the well of the Senate and make your case about why it's a bad bill, why it's bad for the country. You shouldn't be able to just threaten it. So we want you to actually say the words, make your argument, and make your case.
And this is actually that's sort of the same thinking along the same lines as anonymous holds, right? The idea that you want people to come out of the dark and say, you don't have a problem with them being standing against something. You just want them to say that they are against it.
I want to do it in the open. I want transparency and accountability. So if a senator says, I don't want to move forward on this jobs creation bill, I would like him or her to explain not only to his colleagues, but to the American people why he's against that bill. And so it just creates more accountability and much more transparency, which was one of the things I think is so sorely needed.
You also want to end automatic congressional pay raises, and this is something actually that you've been talking about for a long time, but what I'm curious about is when the pay has been raised, have you accepted those raises?
I've given them to charity. That's what I've typically done as a member of Congress, yes. And the reason why I think it's important is because obviously, the American people don't get to raise their own pay. Middle-class families in New York don't assume their salaries going up every year, and they're certainly not guaranteed it, but that's the way that it's been in the Congress, and I think that's wrong. I think it's just a matter of fairness, particularly during a tough economic recession and tough economic times that we've been in. And then the last measure, which you'll also like, Liz, is more transparency on federal spending.
I'm all for transparency.
You are. So if someone wants to make an investment in their state, they have to put it online in a searchable database so all their constituents can see it. So if I'm advocating, I did that as a House member.
You did. I remember you put it online on your website. But I thought the Republicans were against earmarks altogether.
Some of them are. Some of them would like to ban all earmarks. Others just would like more transparency. I'm on a bill, for example, with John McCain and Senator Coburn to create this searchable database for earmarks. Because in a tough recession, sometimes it makes a difference to be able to direct an investment. So if I can direct an investment to put a sewer system in a town that desperately needs it, they won't have to raise their property taxes then to pay for it. So there are ways where you can get federal money into your state that will help enormously in creating jobs and keeping taxes down that can make a difference. And so many of us believe that that's a judgment we should make so we can create those jobs. But having the transparency is what's necessary so that, you know, taxpayers and constituents can hold you accountable if you're making wrong choices.
You know, I just also want to note that you've been getting a lot of kudos lately. Senator Schumer gave you a huge shout-out for being instrumental in the Zadroga bill, that 9/11 health care bill. You also ended up on Jon Stewart on The Daily Show, and he called you adorable. It was sort of a love festival. The two of you seemed to have a really awfully good time.
Yeah, it was a good show. Well, John did a really good thing. I don't know if you saw it, Liz, but he dedicated 2 shows to the 9/11 health bill. First, to embarrass the Republicans who were obstructing at the time, to say, how could you be against this? And then the second show, he brought in our first responders. He brought in our heroes. He brought in our firefighters and police officers who were literally dying of these terrible cancers and diseases caused by the toxins that were released. And he used his platform as an international show to draw attention and to put a spotlight on it. And it really amplified the work that the advocates had been doing for weeks and months and years, frankly, in a way that I think really helped to move us across the finish line.
Okay, but what does it say when we have to have Jon Stewart moving legislation in Washington? I mean, that is a pretty sad commentary on what's happening in Congress, is it not?
No, what it is about advocacy, Liz. Like, we had a lot of progress. I mean, this bill has been moving for a few years now. Carolyn Maloney, Jerry Nadler, Peter King, they worked really hard to create a good House bill, and they passed that bill in September. And so